What up, guys? Welcome back to the Highwire Garage, and today it's going to be a real quick video on how to install the Radium Engineering top feed fuel rail. So this is for a 2JZ-GTE vvti, and they give you a link to look at instructions online, but I'm a visual learner, so I'm going to do this real quick for you guys, and I actually have some pretty sweet 1000cc injector dynamic injectors. So we're going to be installing those as well, and this is just going to be a quick video for anybody that wants to see it and just get the job done. So let's get it started. All right, so coming in the box, you should have the fuel rail itself. I already opened everything up just for the sake of the video, but you're going to have a very nice fuel rail. This thing is gorgeous, gorgeous. You get a sticker, which is awesome. You're going to have the spacer. I already installed the O-rings on there, which I'll show you in the next clip, but you're going to have O-rings. You're going to have two different sets of adapters, and then you should have some screws. First thing you're going to do is you're going to take the injector seats and you're actually going to put the O-rings on them. They're going to wind up being seated like that. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take some regular just engine oil and you're just going to lube around the edge of the ring just so that it's lubricated nicely so that the rubber will last. So what I like to do is I just put a little bit of oil in the cap, dab it on your finger, rub it around the edge of the O-ring, and then install. Now I'm doing this with one hand. Definitely try to use two so you could seat it correctly, but basically put it in there, push it down, make sure it's seated, try to push it down, opposite sides, and there you go. And install all 6 of them. All right, next thing you're going to do is you're going to have to actually measure your injectors. So there's 2 different sizes usually. It's between 34 millimeters and 48. And how you do that is you're going to measure in between the 2 O-rings on your injector. So as you can tell, we're about 48 millimeters. I know I'm not doing it super accurately because I'm using one hand, but I have 48 millimeter injectors. Now, as you're reading the instructions, it says, and I will read it word for word, the fuel injectors must have 14 millimeter upper and lower O-rings. Now, these injectors I ordered specifically for this from a company, and I know they are correct. But if you're using some cheap Chinese aftermarket ones or whatever, you're going to have to make sure you have the proper size O-ring. You're also going to have to make sure you do not have some type of adapter cap, depending on where you ordered them from. On the injector, you might have to remove that adapter cap if it's on there, because the Radium fuel rail does not use that. You're going to use basically just the injector, no adapter cap. So since I have the 48 millimeter injectors, I'm going to wind up using the taller mount for the fuel rail. The shorter one is for the 34 millimeters, so make sure you get the right ones. Okay, so next, as you can see, these are actually only going to fit on one certain way, so they're really not hard to install. But what you're going to need to do is put just a little tiny bit of some blue thread locker on there just to make sure those bolts stay secure. So it should look a little something like that. Then you're going to take your trusty old 4 millimeter Allen wrench and you're going to sock them suckers down. Make sure you don't scratch your rail. Next thing you're going to lay out, basically, for me, I like to lay it out like this. You lay out all your injectors so you know which way they're facing properly. You know which way the rail is going to be facing properly. And basically, you're just going to lube up the O-rings and install them each into each of the ports in the rail. So make sure you grab a little bit of oil, lube them up, send them home. And this is what you're going to be left with. So once you install those, it's going to look very, very pretty sitting there with all your injectors in. And you're going to notice you have 2 other holes in the bottom, and then you have obviously your fuel in and your fuel out, or whatever side you're going to wind up using. Now I'm going to use an Aeromotive fuel pressure regulator, and I actually have to change some of these fittings from where this was used before. I'm actually going to be blocking both these holes off because I'm not actually putting accessories in there. So from here, it's sort of like, custom per car, because everybody's fuel system is going to be a little different. If you're going to wind up using, like a pulse stamp or other things like that, you could add those accessories. But mine's going to be pretty simple. So I actually have to get caps for these. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys the install of just the fuel rail real quick. But I'm not going to be leaving mine in. So next, you're going to actually want to lube these O-rings, where you're the green ones, which are my bottom ones. And then you're gonna have to put the OEM plastic spacers in here and then install your bolts. So I'll show you guys that in the next clip. All right, so now take your OEM spacers and insert them into the regular spots. Bada bing, bada boom. Make sure they're seated as well. You want to make sure everything's seated. This stuff is very important. Now, like I said, I didn't lube up my injectors yet because I'm actually going to wind up pulling this rail back out. This is sort of just a test fit, and it does say that in the instructions. Test the rail out, but you don't want to set it until you put all your accessories on, because you really don't want to try to be cranking some AN fittings onto this thing with the when it's attached to the engine. But basically, it's going to look something like that. Let's try that again. Something like that. Now that I could use two hands to set it, but there you go. So as you can see, everything fits properly once you put your bolt in there and actually push down more. Again, I was just test fitting all this stuff. It should all fit properly. Again, make sure to lube all your O-rings. But there you go. That's basically a quick install of a Radium Engineering fuel rail on a 2JZ-GTE vvti with top feed injectors. Super easy, guys. If you have any questions, feel free to comment. If you like this video, please shoot me a like. And also, they do have word-by-word instructions on their website if that's something you guys prefer. So thanks for watching. Again, please comment on it if you have any questions, like it, and if you like these videos, there's more to come. Subscribe. Peace, y'all.